Hey everyone, Richard Metal Fan here, and today we talk Fear of the Dark by Iron Maiden. Now, Fear of the Dark is, of course, the band's ninth album released in the year 1992, and it sort of like continues, was around the time of like Maiden's sort of like downfall, especially like their little like slump that they hit in the 90s. Um, One thing to note is this album is just it feels like it is kind of like fear like No Prayer for the Dying, but I will say it's actually slightly better, but still is just kind of whatever. For the production's actually better. It's not as opposed to No Prayer for the Dying, where it just sounds as very thin. It's very thick sounding. um I think Bruce's vocals are just kind of not really as good as they were, like I said, in the 80s. And one thing I should also have forgotten to mention, also in the my No Prayer for the Dying review, is also I feel like around 1990 till about 93 or so when Bruce left is where Bruce really kind of was the beginning of him not really giving a shit or giving it his all in Maiden, like especially in his voice, you could definitely tell. But you could really, it was like really around 92, 93 is where things, the ball really sort of dropped for Bruce and his tension between the band, but that's another story, which we'll get to that in the next review. And the guitar work is good. I mean, Dave Murray and Yannick Gers' guitar solo is great. Bass is pretty good, and the drumming from Steve Harris is great. Great, I will say that. That's the musicianship is good, and the production is actually better. So yeah, let's just dive into this album track by track, shall we? Now opening it up is Be Quick or Be Dead, which gets everything going in an energetic manner, which opening with a drum roll and a soaring screech from Bruce, which welcomes the listener with its fiery grip. Yeah, and I feel like Be Quick or Be Dead is a mighty badass motherfucker out of the angry time. And Bruce's vocals are suitable, like harsh and raspy, and the lyrics are an attack of the British government for allowing political scandals to happen at the time, including the collapse of the BCCI. And it bears like two guitar solos in a fast pace. This became a classic in the hearts of Maiden fans everywhere, and it isn't hard to discover why. And I think it's a pretty damn good opener. But following that is the next song, From Here to Eternity, which that song really isn't really that good. I feel like they're trying to, it just sounds very cheesy sounding, like a cheesy 80s tune, even though this album came out in 92. But like I don't even know. And just like the lyrics are like kind of like dumb and just I don't really know. No, it's just a laughable song. I just kind of skip it every time. But yeah, then we go into Afraid to Suit Strangers, which is actually the first of the few standouts. It's a live favorite, actually, and I actually really think it's a really good song. It has like a softer intro and one of the best solos ever to come after. And this song is oh so obvious as of Steve Harris's work. Soft intro, has memorable lyrics, great drumming from Nico, and a normal Bruce's voice is always nice to hear. And this is like a little bit you'll hear Bruce's his voice sounding, I guess, somewhat like he was going back to where he was. It just shows that with different Bruce's voice, with the abandoning the sound from like No Prayer, it's just a really great song. And actually, like, I don't know if you've seen the live version of this song with Blaze Bailey, who would replace Bruce after this album. And I actually think he actually does a really good job of this song also. I mean, not to say that Bruce doesn't do a good job on here, but I don't know. I just like the Blaze's version also is more than Bruce's. That's just me, even though I'm not really a fan of Blaze. But anyway, moving on to the next song on here, which is Fear is the Key. Which is a first line of aforementioned generic songs, due to the fact that after hearing the whole album, you probably won't even remember that this one's on it. The singing parts are kind of forgettable, and although the main riff is fine, the chorus is there to ruin the experience completely, which is Childhood's End, which is alright, has an unorthodox chorus and a great powerful solo parts, and the lyrics are pretty simplistic yet meaningful. Wasting Love, which is a pretty interesting song, but the reason I say that is the only power ballad that Iron Maiden has done to date. I know a lot of it's not like very like likable amongst fans and stuff, but I find it very peaceful and enjoyable. It's actually a pretty good song. An acoustic intro is effective with Bruce's voice. That sounds mesmerizing. The chorus is powerful and it sticks with you long after hearing it. It's kind of dark, but there's like some sort of uncommon beauty in it. The Fugitive has just garbage, has an uninspired intro that slowly brings you to one of the most distinctive chorus. It's just bad. Chains of Misery, just boring and garbage. Let's see what else. What else we got? The the Apparition, which isn't even a filler. It's just a disgrace, which is just garbage. Judas Be My Guide, which honestly I feel like is a very underrated song with a unforgettable riffs and a powerful yet tender chorus, not to mention a clear and precise solo. It is rightfully short, which then again shows us that longer is not always better. A small dose of heavy metal heaven. Also, it shows like Dave Murray, who also I think wrote the song or co-wrote it. It is also underappreciated as a songwriter. I think it's a pretty good. Next song on the album is called Weekend Warrior, which is a weak song, but it is at least, it's not over the top. It's just simply dull and uninteresting. Then we end things with the title track, Fear of the Dark, which is probably one of Iron Maiden's best known songs. They pretty much played it live since, well, 1992. It's one of, I feel like, their anthems. Very good live crowd when they sing like the whoa, and it has like some really like slow parts that just goes fast right in there, and then I like how it just ends really slowly. Now overall, Fear of the Dark by Iron Maiden is a pretty it's okay. It's not really like their greatest album. I mean, though I will say it's similar to No Prayer for the Dying, but has some better moments, but doesn't make it totally like a perfect album. So I'm going to give this album a score. I'm going to give this a solid 5.5 out of 10. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal.